Shalom, shalom. I want to talk briefly from the text of Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. I just want to, and this is not a call to have women rise up and be rebellious and not reverence their husbands. This is not an attempt to put down husbands. But I do want to revisit the way we review the scripture, its biblical context and meaning. A woman is a free moral agent just as a man is. She has the ability to make decisions. She has the power of choice just like the man does. And just as Yah is head of the man, he's also head of the woman. And just like Yahshua is the mediator of man, he's also the mediator between the woman and Yah. I don't believe that Yah would remove himself from being the head of the woman and cause her husband to be the sole head of the woman. I don't believe he would put his power or his authority in the hands of man to do that which he was designed to do. But understand that man is the head. I do understand that of woman. Let's read Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall have rule over thee. And that word rule is to have dominion. And the word dominion means that the man has a responsibility to lead and to make decisions, within the marriage. He also has a responsibility to provide, to protect, to love, to cherish her just as he does his own flesh. The woman was created to be a helpmate to the man. And likewise, the man is a helpmate to the woman. They are helpmates one to another. It's not one-sided, that Yah would just have the woman help the man and the man not help the woman. The man is the head helpmate. He is the head example of the Messiah, the Mashiach, loving her how the Messiah loved the church. He's the head at teaching in his home. And just in case you don't know it, a woman can do all of those roles as well. But the help of the woman should not exceed or outdo that of the help of the man, because he is the head helpmate, and the woman is the weaker vessel by nature. But again, a woman can do all of those functions. She can even provide, and in some cases, the woman does out-provide the man. She can protect. She can teach. A woman can teach a man straight out of the womb women are teaching males. A woman can preach and teach to a man. Help those women who labor with me, Paul said, in the gospel, spreading the gospel, teaching and preaching. There is neither male nor female when it comes to matters of the faith with the Father. Any office of ministry, any function in the congregation, a woman is capable of doing those things. What makes you think that a woman cannot do those things? Some women are doing those things better than a man, or equal to that of a man. A man can learn from a woman. A woman can edify a man and bring revelation. She can baptize. She can teach and make converts and disciples for the kingdom of Yah. Kuwah came out of Adam's side. She did not come out of his rear. And a lot of marriages are struggling and not in alignment and working in unity because of this concept that a man has, that he is in head or in front of the woman. You're out of position. You're out of alignment. You should be beside your proper place as a husband, as a man, is beside your wife. And communication is off a lot of times because the man is ahead. I can't properly communicate to you, and you can't properly communicate to me if your ego and your pride has got you way ahead of me and believing that Yah only shows things to the man, that everything has to come through the man, and that it's all about the man. You're out of range. If I have something to show you, or you have something that you want to show me, I can't see it. You can't see it because you're out of range. And you need to get back into position, into your rightful place, in your rightful mindset, as walking on side of your wife. We are this is a marriage. One flesh. You can't pull the body one way while part of it is back here. So you need to get back in position, which is on side of your Isha, on side of your wife. And understand that when you're operating as one flesh, when she hears from Yah, it's the same as you hearing from Yah. When she has a vision from Yah, it's the same thing as you having a vision from Yah. But you can't hear it because you're out of range. Understand that as your role in the relationship, you may have been called to that woman to support her preaching ministry. You may have been called to support her while she goes and travels. Because it's not all about you. Not all men are called to preach. Not all men are called to teach. Understand that The wife may have these callings upon her life. And you supporting her, being her helpmate, just like she's your helpmate, doesn't take anything away from you as a man, and it doesn't make you any less of a man. And it does not mean that your wife is not reverencing you or in submission to you. Okay, I want to talk about, let me see. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. I kind of got away from my notes, and it's not going in the order that I intended for it to go to. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is the Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the Mashiach is Yah. And as I stated before, the man being the head is not in any way having or being controlling or manipulative over the woman. Because Yah sent Yahshua to the earth to perform a task. Yahshua chose to give his life. He wasn't forced to do it. He wasn't manipulated into doing it. But he chose to do the will of Yah that he had been sent to the earth to do. Yahshua, the mediator. When we fall short, we have an advocate with the Father through the Son, Yahshua, who is the propitiation or the atonement for our sins. So there's no form of manipulation and control. Yah doesn't control anyone. He doesn't control a man or a woman. If that's the case, Kuwa would have never ate the forbidden fruit. But she was allowed to operate in the power of her choice. So the man being the head of woman is not for him to control and manipulate her in the everyday affairs of life, which she can simply choose for herself. Okay, I want to look at Ephesians 5:25. I'm going to try to keep this moving. Husbands, love your wives. That's your responsibility. Lead in loving your wives. Be an example of the Mashiach's love for us and how he laid down his life for the church. Husbands, love your wives, even as the Mashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word. If a husband is struggling with loving his wife and cherishing his wife, it's because he doesn't have that in him to give. And the question is, why don't you have that in you to give? If a husband does not have that, that means something in his life is broken. He needs healing in some area of his life. Because it says, husbands, love your wives. And when a husband doesn't love his wife, it's a reflection of how he truly feels about himself. Something in him is lacking. His self-worth, something's off with his self-worth. um, it's a reflection of you, the husband. So it's a mirror that you're looking in. When you can't love your wife, or you can't find any satisfaction in her, that's a mirror of you. That's something that's going on in the inside of you, the man. A lot of times it's childhood wounds that have not been healed or dealt with. Past relationship issues that have not been dealt with. And if you are one of those type of men who's in your ego and in your pride, you have just dismissed a whole lot of things to being the fault of the woman, when you should be examining yourself. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. And it's up to you to discover all that's included in that gift or that good thing that you have found. It's up to you to unpack it and find out the asset that that good thing is to your life, so that you can maximize it and get the full potential out of the gift that you have found, that has been given to you as the man. You are to nourish and cherish it. And if you can't find it within you to nourish and to cherish, maybe you're too much in the masculine and there's not a balance with the feminine. We are both, the husband and the wife, members of the same body. I want to look at the virtuous woman in Proverbs 31. Because this notion that a woman is to be silent and she can't teach. Paul was a teacher to the Gentiles. And so he was dealing with unlearned women. And that's what worked best in his congregation, that those women be silent while being taught and learn from their husbands at home. Because when people are unlearned, I see it when I'm teaching my grandchildren. While I'm trying to teach, sometimes they have 1,000 questions. Be silent and learn. After the teaching, then, you can ask questions. Or I understand why, overstand why Paul would say, for them to learn in silence and learn at home. Because if you stop and try to answer every question, nothing will get taught. And what you're trying to teach will be all over the place, and the focus will be off what is being taught, and instead on a bunch of questions that are not even relevant to the subject at hand. But the virtuous woman in Proverbs, I want to look at Proverbs 12 first. Proverbs 12:4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. But she that maketh ashamed is rottenness in his bones. So she's a crown. Let's take a look at this word virtuous. It says she's a force. She's a means of resources. She's an army. She can fight for you if she needs to. She can defend you. It's not always physical, but in so many ways, with her wisdom, with her mouth, with her words. She's a force. She's wealth, valor, strength, goods, riches. It says her price. Let's go to Proverbs 31. So does that sound like a woman who's being controlled and dominated and manipulated? Was it Timothy or Paul that said a woman is not supposed to usurp authority over a man? Well, guess what? Neither is a man supposed to usurp authority over a woman, and that's mean by force. You're not supposed to do anything by force over a woman. So, thus far, does that sound like a woman who can't speak to unless spoken, who has to be silent? Does that sound like a woman who can't do anything unless her husband approves or gives her the go ahead to do it? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring some things to the attention of your husband, but if a husband always feels the need to shut down anything that you do, that's out of balance and it's wrong. Because as I stated, it's not all about the man and what he's called to do. But women have been called and chosen by Yah to perform certain tasks and duties as well. And it's not all within the home or in the community. Some things are involving a congregation or church, as we would say. She has been called to spread the gospel, to teach his word as well. Some women. Proverbs 31. It says her price is far above rubies, 31:10. That means she's valuable. Rubies stand out. That's not something that's just blending in the background. It's something that may get attention, be seen, so it's out there. It stands out. A virtuous woman stands out. She's not blocked by being in the rear and her husband's out front. Kuwah came out of Adam's side and not his rear. So husband, step aside. Get out of the way. Get out of Yah's way. You're blocking your wife's ability to see Yah and hear from Yah and to flow in what Yah has called her to do. It says the heart of her husband does safely trust her. She can be trusted. A virtuous woman can be trusted. so that she shall have no need of spoil. She will do you good. A virtuous woman will. All the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax. She's working willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings food. She provides meat for her household. She considers a field. That means she buys it. She purchases it. So she can govern finances. She rises up and provides meat for her household and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands, she planteth a vineyard. She girds her loins with strength. She perceives that her merchandise is good. So she's a businesswoman. She has products that she can sell. And if you read further down, you know, she's working the spindle. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. She can sew. She can make her own clothes, and she can also make clothing to sell. She's a businesswoman. She can grow a vineyard and provide for her household and sell the produce as well. In verse 26, it says, she opens her mouth with wisdom. Her mouth, the silent woman, as you say. Be silent and learn at home. This woman here, she opens her mouth with wisdom. And in her tongue is the law of kindness. That's not a silent woman. She don't eat the bread of idleness. So she's not a slothful and a slack woman. She's doing, she's helping, she's creating, she's managing, she's providing, she's protecting her family by providing food and provisions. She's bringing something to the table. Yes, man is the head helpmate as well. Because in the event that a woman does not do any of these things, the man has been designed to do it all. A woman can do it all, but she prefers to have a man to help her and to be the head in these things. Because a lot of women that I see nowadays that are in positions where they have to do it all with no man are struggling and suffering. And to the woman who's married and the husband who's out of position, not by her side, but way out front, way ahead of her, she's struggling to be heard, struggling to be seen, struggling to have a purpose and a role. Because her husband is under the mindset that everything has to be, Yah only shows him, or everything has to come through him. He can't show anything, that the woman can't lead in any of these roles. Some husbands don't need to lead in the finances in a relationship. And in some cases, the woman doesn't need to do that. Whoever the stronger partner is in that particular area, or who's more skilled, needs to be the one leading and managing that particular area in the marriage. We are a partnership, a team. So a virtuous woman, she excels your regular woman. When a woman is truly able to operate in her authority and role as a virtuous woman, she excels all other women who are not operating in that capacity. Yah has heard the cry of his daughters. And he said, many husbands, because this is what Yah told me, many husbands are going to be humbled in this hour. And you're going to wear your shame. If you're operating in this space of being manipulative and controlling with your spouse, Yah said you are about to be humbled. And you are going to wear or bear your shame. And as I stated before, a woman can teach a man. A man can learn from a woman. A man can be enlightened in the word or receive some type of edification that he wasn't aware of from a woman. And and a woman can teach a man who doesn't know the word of Yah. She simply can, because she has a mouth. If she has studied the scriptures, she can retain knowledge and give knowledge out. What's wrong with you that you can't see that? Your ego as a man is stopping you from seeing that a woman can't teach you. She's not usurping authority over you by teaching you. She's not forcing the word. She's simply teaching it, preaching it. I'm almost finished. A woman can proclaim and publish the gospel message. I have this here, so I'm going to go and take a look at it. Galatians, as I stated, I'm coming to a close. Let me see what I have here. Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew or there's neither Hebrew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For ye are all one in the Mashiach. So a woman can perform these roles that a man performs. Some women have been called, as I stated, and chosen to do some of these ministry roles and functions. We are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that we should show forth the praises of Yah, who have brought us out of darkness into his marvelous light. A holy nation doesn't consist of men only, but it consists of women as well in the royal priesthood. Jeremiah, 31. and 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yah have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man, or compass a man. I think it's compass, I believe. Revolve, surround. That word surround, lead. Just like Deborah, the prophetess Deborah, she was a judge and a prophetess in Israel. Esther with Queen Xerxes went to him on behalf of her people, petitioned him. In other words, to let her people go. Surround, lead, fetch, bring, cause to come, drive. A woman can do these things. She shall compass a man. No different than Harriet Tubman and many great women in our era and even in our present time. Women are leading, and they were called to be leaders as well. Second Samuel. I'm almost done. and 22. Then the woman went unto all the people, not just the women, all the people, the men and the women and the children. The woman went unto all the people in her wisdom. So how are they going to know that this woman is operating in wisdom unless they're observing something that she's doing or something that she's saying? Many husbands, stop holding your wife back. Stop holding her down. You're not only doing it in the home, but it's being done in the assemblies. She can't do nothing but go in the kitchen and cook. Or teach the children. Get your ego and your pride out of Yah's way. Stop blocking his daughters. You're going to be humbled in this hour. And they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri, and cast it out unto Joab, and he blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent, and Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. So, you know, a word of wisdom. Oh, I'm sorry, I read the wrong one. And then the woman went unto all the people in her wisdom, verse 22, and they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri, and cast it out of Joab, and he blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent, and Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. And this was all because of a word that was received, a word of wisdom that was received from a woman. Romans 16:7 was the apostle Junia, which was a woman. Philippians 4:2-3, Paul said, help those women who labor with me in the gospel. The women that help to preach the gospel, help to teach, and meant various other roles that they assisted and helped Paul. It says they, and this was Euodias and Syntyche, they were true yoke fellow. They were co-yoked equally. Not about being male or female, but they were co-yoked equally. They were co-workers. They were colleagues. He says, help those women. Aid them, assist them. Clement, the woman Clement, he was a fellow laborer, a companion, a coadjutor. And a coadjutor is one who assists or is a deputy. So in the event of Paul's absence, they could preach, they could teach. Not meaning that they couldn't do it elsewhere if Paul wasn't present. But they could have stepped in and filled his shoes. Everything is not written. And in the event that he was not available, he could have used a woman. He saw them as co-laborers, co-yoke fellows, equals. Aquila and Priscilla ministered in their home together to young Paul. They were a married couple who had a ministry or a congregation in their home, and they ministered together. The apostle Thecla, who is in the Acts of Paul, she was a disciple of Paul. And he commissioned her to preach the gospel, to teach the Bible, to baptize. The Acts of Paul are written around 190 CE. Again, as I stated, this is not to incite women to rise up in the spirit of rebellion against their husbands. But we have been called as co-yoke fellows, co-laborers in the gospel, in the teaching of the Bible and the spreading of the good news. This is not encouraging women to not reverence their husbands, to not run anything by their husbands or ask their husbands for any advice or counsel. This is coming from a place of understanding that a man would have the final say concerning any major decision in the home. But it's also coming from a place of men need to re-examine what it is to be the head of the woman. As I stated, she is your helpmate, and you are her helpmate. You are not to manipulate and control her. And this is a call to ask you, will you get back in your rightful place, which is on side of your wife? Not way out front, blocking her view of Yah. And you being blocked by Yah because of your ego and pride, which has you in a place of believing that everything you are being blocked by Yah through your ego and pride, and believing that Yah only shows everything to the man, and that the man is always right, and that the woman couldn't possibly have any insight or any input that would need to be adhered to instead of what the man has to say. It should be a balance in the relationship. So husbands, get back in your rightful place, which is on side of your wife, so we both can hear one another, so we both can hear from Yah, so we both can see the same thing. And when there is an issue with what is being said or seen, we can go both take that before Yah and ask Yah to give us clarity and to reveal, not to bring that before other people and cause division and further confusion in the relationship. A lot of times we get unsolicited advice from our peers and people that we respect, which is not from Yah. It sounds good, but it may not be from Yah, which is causing further division and confusion. So let's come together. We are one flesh. One flesh. Shalom, shalom.